goings on? It's your man Hanz Nobe. This is another episode of Hanz Nobe Vlog. Everybody, I'm gonna make this one kind of short. One thing I wanted to talk about was the difference, at least my experience, the difference between selling beats and producing on albums. I was selling beats, my job pretty much would just be the beat maker, and that's it. I wasn't exactly the producer of the track. So say for instance, an artist comes to me and says, hey, I'm looking for beats. Okay, cool. So my job then was to put together 30 to 40 beats in a zip file, send him the beats, and then from there he would tell me, which ones he would like, which ones he didn't, and then from there we would negotiate prices. And then, he would PayPal it to me, and then that would be it. That would be literally the extent of me, contributing to the track. So I wasn't necessarily a producer then. The cool thing about it is that once you sell the beat, that's it, you're done. They can do whatever they want with it as long as they give you credit. They've already paid for it. I would say even go as far as doing like your publishing agreement and saying, hey, let me get 50% of this or 50% of this, or if you bring in a songwriter or whatever else, you guys can sign, contracts via Skype or whatever else and send them to each other and just be done with it. The bad part about selling beats is that you're pretty much just trying to hustle as much of your product, of your sound as possible. Unfortunately, it means you're diving into a market that's very, very saturated. In Houston, and also going back and forth to Atlanta, everyone and their grandmother makes beats. So I had to find different ways to stand out, which means like, instead of just saying, hey, I'm going to sell you this sound or this track for whatever price we negotiated, I had to go a little bit above and beyond. In any marketplace, whether you're selling books, phones, widgets, whatever, there's always going to be competition. So to get a leg up on everyone else, you have to do something different. Maybe maybe you have a songwriter for like your beat, or it already has a hook, or it's already mixed and mastered, or whatever else. You have to find different ways to like really get in. A little bit more than what most people sell a single beat, I would produce someone's EP, which means I would give them 5 tracks, and then those 5 tracks would be theirs based on what they like and didn't like. So there would be Skype sessions, FaceTime sessions, or whatever else, and they would tell me what they like and what they didn't like, and then from there they would have their own crafted beat. So in a sense, I was producing then, but prior to when it was just selling just one-offs or whatever else, I was definitely in the position of the beat maker. Producing is a bit different. So the pros and cons of it. The cons is that, as you see right now, I'm currently working on somebody's album. It's orchestral and things of that nature. So I sent this particular beat that I played in a previous episode to the artist, and he says, cool, I need to be a little bit more musical, which means like now I have to collaborate with other musicians, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because that means it's going to be more grandiose sound and track. However, the bad thing about it is that it's not moving as fast as just selling the beat and moving on to the next client or next person. That means things, production slows down. I still make my 3 beats a day, but it's this production that slows down, because now I have to go in, tweak things and things of that nature, which means it's not just sending a whole bunch of beats and just be done with it. Now, like, we have to really craft a sound, and which means we have to book a studio session and things of that nature. That can be not frustrating, but if you're used to moving at a certain pace, it can be frustrating, because you're not just dropping off something, collecting and walking off. It's like you have to make sure the mix is right, you have to make sure the chorus is right, you have to make sure that the guy is in pocket, you have to make sure it's a totally different animal. So the good thing about it though is, if done right, that means the royalty checks is going to be consistent. I don't want to say nice, because I feel like there's like this misconception that, if you get a royalty check, then you're good. So that's the bad thing about it. But the good thing about it is, like I said before, if done right, the royalties, will be consistent and things of that nature. My preference, beat maker or producer? I say be both. Why not? I learned how to make beats from my boy Jaron Howard, who I suggest you guys Google. He's done some things in there. He's actually done some well-known things, and he's the one that taught me the difference between being a beat maker and a producer. But yeah, producer means you have to get your hands dirty. You really have to like go in there and craft that track and everything else, which means it may take you a week or two to get that track done. And trust me, take it from someone that walked around with a square card reader and a hard drive full of beats. It's almost like you're in like that part of the matrix, but like you're going like 100 miles an hour and then everything just kind of stops. It all depends on what you want to do. This game, you can treat it such as, you treat it as a hustle, which it is. Or you can see the longevity of it, if you put yourself in the right position. That's been my experience with it. And it's dope too to like really collab with the artists, because once you guys come up with something special, like you and that person will always work together. There's still artists back in Houston who I produced tracks for when I actually got my hands dirty, who are like just like, yo, the next time you're in town, let us know and we'll book to this session, don't even worry about it. I think the cool thing about it is that you get to make the best music possible, and it's something that not only represents you but represents someone else, and that recording will live on forever. Sorry to take it that deep and everything else. Sorry for the noise in the background. It is New York. But HanzNobe.com, Twitter at Hanz Nobe, Facebook Mr. Hanz Nobe. What else, man? Snapchat Hanz Nobe. Yeah, man. Maybe I should do a vlog explaining how I got my name. That would be interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna go back and work on this stuff, and shout out to everyone out there following me. Let's get it.